That'd be very odd.
So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
I'm ready
awesome.
for some birthday D&D.
Always. Yes.
A very important announcement that we have. We would like to wish I'd like everybody to wish a very happy birthday to our very own Kim D-Dead here.
Happy birthday,
Happy
everybody.
Not you. You don't wish. We wish to you.
I know. Thank you.
But the happiest of
I'm
birthdays.
gonna start your
Excuse
birthday
me,
strong by
sorry,
giving you 2 full inspiration points.
Hell yeah.
You know what?
Thank you.
Happy
Let's-
fucking birthday.
Let's make it another for me too.
What? Hell yeah.
Oh, awesome.
You're gonna need it.
Wait, why?
Don't worry about it. It's okay. Everything is fine.
No, I'm worried now. I'm absolutely
Yeah.
worried. Where's my notebook? There you are.
Handy dandy notebook.
Yep.
What Kim is not telling us is that it's actually a death note, and she can kill you with her handy dandy notebook.
Fuck, there goes my surprise.
So that's 4 points of full inspiration that you have so far, Kim. So you might want to jot that down.
Yeah, I'm doing it. Thank you. Thank you.
We're doing it. Now you're at 5 and 6.
Damn.
I'm just not even gonna go after Kim at all tonight. Like, just we're.
Now remember,
Ah.
you can use those to jump in and defend us too.
Gotcha. Absolutely.
Y'all are killing me tonight. Y'all are just killing me tonight. Making it rain with those Baron bucks. But yeah. Again, happy birthday to you, Kim. I hope that my present for you guys is well received. But we will see how the night goes.
Do it.
All right. Any thoughts, questions, concerns before we dive into this thing?
So
Stop
much.
killing Joe.
I can only promise that I will not purposely guide the dice in their pursuits, but I cannot stop the dice once rolled.
Sure.
Just let there be dice.
Oh, why yes, these dice, I call them Mortimer. An insatiable bloodlust.
It all makes sense now.
Wait, what the fuck? Oh, there.
You see, my dice are green, just like Mortimer.
You're so pretty.
No, Mortimer, you can't kill her right now. Soon.
Shit. We're all fucked if it's Mortimer.
All right. So, if everybody is feeling ready, let's go ahead and do a brief recap and then dive into Divine Beasts.
Dive without the VE. Or V.
Just dive. That's all.
Alright, did you turn Hydra down before I start the background music?
Roger that. You're good to go. Every one of our games has like the playlists have slightly different.
Oh, jeez, that's loud. I'm sorry,
Thank
guys.
you again. A special quick call out to my wonderful wife Katie for always being our DJ, and for also doing the legwork to find us fantastic royalty-free music that we can use, which will be linked at the very end during our credits, because it's 2022 and art theft is
Link it right now.
She'll link it. She'll link it so hard that you're gonna wish you didn't link it so hard.
If you ever want to like just listen to Divine Beast, if you're thinking about us while you're out on a walk, this is a great playlist for that shit.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
absolutely.
inspiration.
All right. So you all had been heading back home after the events with Alec, and each of you were kind of in your own sort of headspace. I believe it was, unless I'm looking at the wrong page here, I'm starting to second guess myself. But Costin, you had gone and drunkenly approached your father and just confronted him outright about the suspect things that Lord Barrows had said to him. About him, rather. Things pretty much blew up, and you then, in a, let's just put it bluntly, a drunken stupor wandered off into Darugo's reach. Torn, too, had been out and about, as the great HMP would say, shredding us. Drinking away his problems, feeling the pain of his past failures. The many times that he'd almost met his end in your journey and within the city were weighing heavily upon him. Shael, you had returned back to your apartment where you'd found that Koro had actually left it clean. He left a note there saying that he was going to be staying with HMP for a little while, so at the very least the absence of your newfound friend wasn't something of concern. And Noriko, too, had had a chance to return home and sit with her thoughts for a bit, wondering about the rather hollow nature that many of your friendships had. But alas, you did have Thickbird there to provide what comforts Thickbird could, which are, as a matter of fact, a great many comforts, as she is a very special bird. Now, it was when Costin was wandering around the streets that you ran into Torn, and it was a rather unfortunate meeting, as both of you were far too inebriated to really look after one another. Well, Costin was far too inebriated. For Torn, it was just like riding that like perfect level buzz that he's kind of always at. Just like, yeah! And through either travel in the town of Darugo's Reach, happenstance, or maybe the mysterious hand of fate, who knows, but you all had reconvened at Shael's apartment through one means or another. And you all got a chance to really take a look at the rather poor condition that Costin was in. It wasn't just the alcohol thick on his breath like my uncle throughout most of my childhood. I wanted to see what face Katie would make with that one. But also a lingering cloud of sadness just seemed to be looming over him. It was shortly thereafter that Imnik and Alec had also stopped by, and you gained a little more insight that Alec had mentioned that he was fairly well kept after, though he was approached by some people from Lord Barrows, but others were there too, and there was almost an altercation as though there was a misunderstanding or something going on between the actual party that confronted him where there was some infighting. He was taken and ultimately cared for, really. Not the most pleasant by all means, but he wasn't tortured by any stretch of the imagination. And he did inform you of a missive from Ezra, one of the biggest clients of Lord Barrows, and had otherwise been treated fairly well before you all had come in, and had a chance to save him and take him home. Also, as a side note, it appeared that things were going well between Imnik and Alec. Though Imnik would tell you that things were going slowly enough. You got a chance to meet with Avatar Riala and had come to a sort of mutual consensus that your journey and the quest for Costin to become the Avatar could wait, as the Avatar's ultimate goal should be the prosperity and the safety of the people of Darugo's Reach. With that, you had decided on your course of action. That rather than pushing the journey, the pilgrimage of Costin, that you would focus on repairing things at home. Because though you found Alec, you all knew that this wasn't over. Far from it. And so you decided to follow up on something that Lord Barrows had said. Something that had lingered in your minds since that night before. Something about a lab hidden in the north part of town. And you went, and through a bit of quick thinking and puzzle solving, you found a hidden entrance near the statue of Avatar Rowena, the first of the Avatars of Darugo's Reach. And it led down to a strange alchemic supply area, laboratory of sorts. But it was there that you were met with a deadly ambush. And the battle was hard fought. You came out on top, but not unscathed. Especially Torn, who took not one, not two, at about 30 to the chin. But he kept going like a champion because that's what heroes do. And as the battle had winded down, with one of them escaping, a low... Ooh, I got a D6. Ho ho ho! I'm gonna note that down. That's a secret number that we're gonna use later. Now, but it was there. In the dimly lit passages that the door slowly creaked open, and a figure had come out. Looking and noticing all of you from that moment. Let's resume from that very moment. So you can see that figure emerging out of the doorway. A man in a long, off-white lab coat covered in stains. Tall and lanky. His large spectacles obscure much of his face, which holds a crooked grin and unkempt gray hair. He looks over at all of you, adjusting his spectacles for a moment. Ah, what is this? Bit of a mess to clean up here in the laboratory. And who are you? Why have you come here?
Do I recognize him? Therefore, see if I recognize him.
So you will need to roll. You've never laid eyes on this person before, but let's see if maybe you've heard anything.
What am I rolling? Just, great intelligence.
Let's go knowledge history.
6, so it's gonna be 16.
You're staring at this gentleman, and you've never seen him, and nothing about their general appearance seems to ring a bell.
Hey, the mask, how you doing?
Also, said that will state your name. Who are you?
My name? The grin widens across his face. I pushes his spectacles up once more. Am Dr. Vex. The one who runs this laboratory, or... He casts a scowl across. What is
thank
left
you so
of
much
it
for
after
relax.
what you have done here? Why have you come down here?
Just for the record, we weren't the ones throwing fireballs. But what is the... We've come down here to investigate suspicious dealings. What is the nature, what is the purpose of this laboratory?
Suspicious dealings. There is none of this happening here in this lab now. No suspicious dealings, but rather experiments that shall change the whole world.
What manner of experiments?
So you want to know more? He walks together, rubbing his hands together slowly. There's a small bit of excitement, though there's an awkward air about him.
Music that creeps.
He's got these long, spindly fingers stained with all manners of different kind of chemicals and bits on them, and almost half-heartedly wipes them off on his coat before going forward and extending a bony hand. Dr. Vex, soon to be... Vex. Dr. Vex.
I apologize. Your accent is unfamiliar and it's difficult for me to understand some of your words. However, we were sent to tour this facility when the guards ambushed us prematurely.
Now that's funny. Yes. And you can see he kind of like takes off his spectacles from him, tries to clean them off a little, and they appear a little bit better now. They were caked in some chemical that you're not entirely certain what it was. He puts them back on and he squints for a moment. Now that is a very odd thing.
Why do you say that?
That any gods would attack the young Gambits.
I thought so myself. I figured my face alone would be enough. Apparently I was wrong.
Young Gambits, if you would like to see what we have done in this humble lab, allow me to show you.
Yes.
Why would it be especially odd for them to attack Lord Gamlet's here?
I shall explain as we go. And he turns,
Can I
his
roll an
arms folded
insight
behind
check?
him. Absolutely.
I want to know. I don't know what I want to know. I just want to know if this is gonna get me my ass killed if I follow him. So 17 plus 6. I just want to know what's the vibe like behind his familiarity with Costin. Like, is it just because everyone knows the Gamwitzes, or is it something else?
You can tell by the almost familiarity and the way that grins seem to perk upwards that there's a connection there, obvious or not. Though it may not be with Costin.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Also, I would like you, please, to roll knowledge history.
Me? Another 17 on the die. This is the lucky die tonight. 17 plus 6 again.
Nice.
So you're piecing things together as you're listening to this guy, and a long time ago at Sapphire Skies there was a Dr. Welks that was a very eccentric fellow, very into his studies and his experiments, that was no longer employed there, as ultimately he didn't take to teaching that well, but effective at his works in experimenting with the properties of different reagents on magical effects. Absolutely. That's a good question. You never recognized him out the gate, but Dr. Welks does bring up some context. And even Costin, now that you've heard the name Dr. Welks, there's been just as she knew, while you lack the familiarity of the exact situation that Shael had, Dr. Welks is a name that's not renowned, but is known throughout some of the scientific community.
Okay.
So before we follow him, Shael's just gonna kind of grab Costin's arm and just be like, "Are you sure you want to follow this guy?"
I just nod without saying anything.
Well, whatever you want to do, we've got your back.
All right. So he guides you then to a room which is filled with desks and various parts of creatures' liquids and acid settling in a rather large collection of vials and bottles. But he turns and beckons you down a dank and cold stone passageway, descending down worn stone steps. And further down you go, through a stairwell that leads to a passage even further underground. Damp stones line the walls with large symbols etched into them. The stairwell leads to a simple wooden door, but the air holds a lingering, foreboding sense to it.
With a loud creak, he swings it open. I need everybody to roll a wisdom save for a moment.
Damn it.
24.
24, okay.
Got a 10. I
Those
just
your
called
final
you
answers?
lucky. I just called you lucky. No, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
And Torn?
I got a 10.
I love your commitment to the bit, dude. You're just like, I don't need advantage.
Screw
I
that.
own my shit. Okay. As you go down, what you see takes each of you aback. A shocking sight to Costin, and Oriko as well, almost drawing a breath of that damp, dank air that fills your lungs. But for Torin and for Shael, it's more than you can bear. Full stepping backwards, aghast at what you see. A room filled with tall glass containers, housing hypogeans floating in fluids in a variety of colors. He turns with a crooked smile and beckons you further in. And this is where the most important experiments take place. He looks and kind of touches one of the large glass containers. It's beautiful, is it not?
Interesting.
Shael is just pale.
No. Not fucked. They are hypogeans. Then why do you waste your breath referring to it as anything else other than what it is?
I wasn't made aware we had full specimens on site. How did we attain these?
Such matters do not concern me. They are brought here, and I conduct my experiments to enhance their capabilities and, well, other wonderful things.
Very well. Let's continue with the tour, and by the end, I need to have a discussion with you on the efficiency of the running this facility. We'll need to go over details and paperwork.
The end. He just kind of holds his arms broadly. As you look, there are no further doors. But this is everything. This is where I discovered the secret. You see, it's in the blood.
Yes, I had heard it was something to that effect. Do you have your research notes on hand? Are they in-house?
Why do you ask?
As I said, I'm here to assure efficient running of this facility.
Could you roll deception for me?
Okay, it's dice. Don't fuck me here! I'm doing so well! 15! 14 plus 1.
His face tightens a bit for just a moment as he casts from behind his spectacles a stern gaze. But his mouth crooks upwards, revealing a toothy grin. You want to see the notes? So you're one who can appreciate the progress that we've made here.
Of course.
Would you like to see what I've been working on personally just these last few days?
Well, if this is the end, as you say, Where are you keeping it?
He walks over to the far end in a corner, and there's one of those containers, and there's a heart beating, and like bubbles come out.
Gross.
Merely a heart?
It's not just a heart. You see, the hearts of all of them, they beat different than that of us mortals. Did you know that when you infuse some of their organs with Eldritch Ember Root, it changes some of the functions? It's so
Fascinating.
exciting.
Yes, I was curious what the Ember Root shipments were for. I'm glad we could discuss that.
It was expensive, but we found suppliers that could get it to us a bit cheaper.
Yes, the black market suppliers.
Yes, but such is a small thing to break a few laws for the sake of progress. Wouldn't
Surely
you
you didn't
agree,
have-
young Gambits?
Surely you didn't have to break laws with the way you're being supported here. Your... what's the word I'm looking for?
Benefactor?
Your benefactor. Your benefactor. Surely they had the position to do what was necessary to ensure everything was running smoothly. Even change laws for you to do the job that you're doing here.
Ah, my benefactor. Such a smart young man you are.
I've been told as much. I was near top of the class in the academy, as you well know.
It does make me wonder. You're born with the runic powers, right? It runs in the Gambit's blood. What would happen if we put Eldritch Ember Root inside of you?
That's not necessary. That's not what we're here to discuss.
We are not. But thinking of such things is what drives a man of progress forward.
Of course, but given the rarity of my lineage, there's no need to experiment in such a way. It could spoil it altogether.
Ah, that's right. And he stops and he kind of gives a sort of pondering look upwards, thinking to himself, but if we had clones, that would be fascinating. You all are adventurers, right? What information do you have about Hyposians? We could exchange notes, perhaps drive my experiments forward.
Unfortunately, in terms of what we know, it's not nearly as much as you know. Our excursions outside have... well, we've only had the one so far, and it wasn't as fruitful as I had hoped.
A shame. He removes his glasses again, cleaning them off, but really, as you watch him doing this, it's just smudging around different marks on them.
Yummy.
Of course, I suppose that soldiers and adventurers have their own uses outside of the laboratory. So,
As you say.
what do you wish to know?
I need to see all the backup paperwork you keep for every transaction, everything coming in and out of the facility. As I said, efficiency of the operation is important.
Or supplies that
note.
come in? I do not care for such things.
A man of your stature doesn't keep notes, keep inventory.
Why should I care about inventory? I keep notes on my precious specimens. Would you like
Inventory
to
is
know what happens when you combine the blood of a Kukakuda with a Hyposian?
We could save that for another time. I was here to go over paperwork over anything else.
Then you've come to the wrong place, young Gambits.
That was not my understanding when I arrived.
There's such a surprise that a young man has a lack of understanding. If this is all, I could return to my work.
If you'd show us out, that would be kind of you.
Sorry, I just... You were like staring fucking daggers at me right there. I'm like, huh.
I know, he's so gross. I've been trying to distract myself from how uncomfortable I am by trying to find appropriately creepy music to play in the background.
I'm sorry.
That's appropriate.
I didn't mean to make you guys uncomfortable.
No, it's
appropriate.
good. It's just, you know.
But you say, as you request to be seen out, a voice echoes from the passageway behind you. That will not be necessary. Stepping through with muffled footsteps beyond the chamber, you see Dalinar, an Empyrean lamp clutched in his white-knuckled grip. His appearance is immaculate as usual, but the few beads of sweat atop his brow belie the outward demeanor of a man trying to appear calm. Son.
Father. It's not like you to lie to my face. Or is it? Is it something you've been doing to me my whole life?
You wish to know the truth? Come then, let us speak on this matter, in a place more suitable for conversation.
You finally deem it appropriate, after I went out of my way, intentionally to find this place that I knew was here, that you lied to my face about. And now that I know, you want to talk about it.
You do not understand all of it, my son.
Clearly. So, let's go somewhere and talk about all of it.
As you wish. And he turns on heel and proceeds upward through the stone steps. Were you all going to follow him up, or was there anything else that you wanted to do down here?
No, Shael wants to get the fuck out.
It is unsettling.
No.
And can I get everybody's passive perception?
16? I
16.
think Costin's is the same as mine.
Yeah, yep.
How much, Orica? 14. And Torn. Costin,
Wisdom
you don't...
dump stat!
your passive is high enough, but you're in an emotionally engaged state right now. You're not really looking around, taking things in. Shael, wanting to leave this place as quickly as possible, you're going and you swear you saw one of the eyes inside of the tank follow you.
That was oddly appropriate.
No.
Absolutely. I do not know. All that I do is work on my experiment to perfect the final goal.
Well, how do you expect to become famous if you don't take credit for your work?
Oh, I'll receive all the credit soon. After all, Lord Gambit's promised it to me. But I'm sure he'll tell you that soon, won't he? Now run along. Oh. If they were my experiments, tell me. Were they strong?
Not strong enough.
Interesting. What did it do? When I combined the root with their blood and pumped it through their veins, you know it can make changes that one might consider rather impactful.
How about this? Next time there's an attack, we'll come down here and drag you out to see for yourself.
Interesting. I shall note this down. And you see he goes to the far end table and just begins sifting through piles of papers in a very unkempt stacks and begins scrawling with a pen.
Child does not hide her revulsion as she finally just turns and leaves.
What about Torn? You see his face down, spectacles over his nose, but he looks up at you with a very intense glare, but says nothing.
Well played, Doran. Well played.
All right.
Just want to like lightning bolt this guy and end his ass. But I'm
I
not.
thought that you guys were going to be friends with this guy, honestly.
Yeah,
I was like, I
real
think
close.
this guy's really friendly, and I think they're really going to like him.
Yes. I mean, it nearly happened.
So, upon reaching the top of the staircase, you find Dalinar there, and he dims the Empyrean lamp in his hand and sets it down. And there's a few kind of workbenches here, and he gestures you over to have a seat. I understand what this might look like to you, Costin.
Do you? You know what it looked like to me. Please, explain.
I'm doing something that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to keep you out of this, my son.
For what purpose?
Because there are other parties at play in this game.
Interesting. Wouldn't it have been more effective and more efficient for you to have as many people on this project as possible? Especially family members and people you can trust, like me.
I knew that you and your brother wouldn't understand.
Well, you're here to explain it. Who else is at play? What is this all for? I fail to see what this is all about.
Fine. It began quite some time ago. You know as well as... And for just a moment, his gaze lingers particularly on Oriko. Others. How much has been lost to the Hyposians? I never told you this, but when I was a younger lad, I was in the Scouts myself. I lost my best friend one time. We went out to investigate some ruins, find some Empyrean gems. A cycle that's only been perpetuated with each avatar. When I held Kristoff in my arms as he drew his last breath, I swore to myself that I would find a way to break this cycle. And he levels a gaze at you, Costin. And when I became a father, I swore that I would keep my children out of this. The sins of the father need not follow the sons for the entirety of their lives. These experiments we're trying to change Hypogeans, that they may be controlled. He looks over to Orico. You've been out. You took part in the Sunless Siege. Why should your life be risked? Why should any of their lives be risked? How many of ours have been killed by them? Why not let them kill themselves while we live here in peace? They are a blight. In the First Age, there was harmony. He looks to Shiloh. You know. You work at the Academy. You've read the books. All of the records. We had empires that spanned continents. Limitless magic. Now look at us. Mere vestiges of what we once were. Living atop the backs of 4 gods. The world itself taken over by some force, some menace, a plague. Why should we not take back what is rightfully ours? I will damn myself and damn my name if it means making the progress necessary, that my children might have a better chance than I did, and their children.
And how does releasing them on the city itself accomplish that goal for you?
Part.
Was that negligence? Are you simply that foolish?
Or are you simply that naive?
People's lives make me naive? Lives you said you were trying to spare?
What do you know about ruling, my son? Ever been the lad sitting back reading your books? Going out and playing hero with the scouts? But you've not ruled. You've not had people at every turn undermine your authority, trying to rain power from you at every last turn. But I have
Whose
to...
job was it to teach him these things? He couldn't have been born knowing how to lead. He needs an example. And instead he got you, who just wastes people's lives and conducts unethical experiments on living things. Is that the example you wish to set?
It's true. He looks over at you with that same stiff upper lip. That look that you've known since your childhood. In many regards. And I suppose, by the outlook of most, I've failed you as a father. But if I lose control of this city, if someone wrests power before these experiments are ready, it will have all been for nothing.
Who is trying to wrest power? Who are the other players? Is it every councilman? Is it a specific one?
Don't be daft, Costin. Xavier Barrows. He's been after my seat on the council for years now. While you were out playing hero with the others, trying to find the Empyrean gems that had been being passed out, going missing from the storehouses in the military, who do you really think was behind that?
I hadn't got that far. I've been preoccupied with Hypogeans attacking the city. Besides, You're talking about me not knowing how to rule. That is not as important as keeping the people safe from harm. And if ruling the people means scaring them and killing them, then I'm not going to be that kind of ruler. I will be a different kind of ruler. A different kind of avatar.
And if that shall be your legacy, then so be it, but this will be mine. And
You
I
will
hope that that is
not
what you do.
continue with these Hyposian experiments and putting the city in danger. You will not.
So you would kill thousands.
I would
How
kill
many
them all.
others have to die, Costin?
Just me.
And if it's only people like you that you aim to protect, then who's to say it's even our right to have this place, this land, this peace that you desire? What makes us so deserving if we allow people like you to continue these projects?
Sacrifices must be made for progress. Imagine few die now that many are spared. 1, 2 generations down. Is that not worth it?
No. Not in the way you're doing it. It is not. You're going about it wrong.
Then I pray whatever your decisions are, whatever you decide to do is the right way. I pray your naivety doesn't lead to us all dying under the Hyposian attacks.
I'll die first protecting this entire city before I let it fall. And it'll be only a single sacrifice, and it will be my sacrifice, no one else's.
I really did fail you, Costin. To think that one sacrifice could save everyone. And so that's it then. You'll journey. You'll protect my son. He'll ascend as Avatar. You'll serve your time. Make what decisions you will, but your heart will stop beating, just as it does with every man. And in that time, a new Avatar will take your place. The cycle will only continue, unless somebody breaks it.
And
And
this
if
is how
I'm-
you would choose to break it? You don't even know.
Do you suggest an alternative?
I know of an alternative, and I'm not going to share it with you.
Then do as you will. Let me go down in history as some villain as you perceive me. Just know this. We were on the verge of something great. Something that would have changed everything.
Go home, Father. Go home and go to bed and leave me to my business.
Goodbye then, Costin.
Might I suggest resigning and passing your power down to Adeline? Might save some face.
I do not take advice from will forge my own path and go as I see fit. And he turns to leave, but he stops for just a moment. And he takes 2 steps towards Costin. His face, that stern countenance, almost breaking for a moment, almost. Your naivety is going to get a lot of people killed.
Your cruel experiments are going to get a lot of people killed. So what does it matter to you?
Think that
Go.
you would sacrifice so much for the few. You're a fool. But I do hope you prove me wrong.
Leave.
Well, I take my leave then. Avatar. And he turns and exits the chamber.
Costin turns to his comrades. We're retrieving Dr. Vex and torching this lab. Gather and save any notes. Keep them on your person. Do not share them. We're going to burn this place to the ground. Discreetly.
That's the right thing to do.
Okay, so... Hold on, let me look at the screen here. This main chamber that we were in, is it just like a bunch of like, just boxes and chairs and stuff? Like, or essentially like what it looks like on the map? Is it? It doesn't seem like there's anything of like great import in this particular room.
Not in particular, though if you do look around, let me take a look-see here.
I just want to make sure I don't miss anything important that might be here.
Yeah, would that be perception, investigation to look for anything?
Please roll investigation.
Alright. Ooh, that's a pretty good roll. Where's my
Nice.
character sheet?
That's an 18 for me.
I think mine's gonna be higher. Investigation. It's gonna be 22.
So you do find several sets of basic alchemy supplies, alembics, mortars and pestles, vials, and then there's actually a few kind of basic poison sets which could create kind of like minor wormroot poisons. There are also supplies that you could use to brew healing potions if you would like to do that, and you can add those to your inventory as you see fit. Another thing too, because I don't believe you guys actually checked after the battle last time.
We didn't.
No, that
Because
guy,
the guy
came out.
Yeah.
And
You also find in various coins and precious gems upon them approximately 200 gold worth of coinage.
Okay.
2 finely made short swords, a cloak that appears to be well padded and emanates a strange magical aura, 3 vials of poison extract, and an Empyrean gem.
Okay. Alright.
is it Empyrean? Can we tell if it does anything specific or just like?
Please roll Knowledge Arcana for me.
Do I have Arcana? I do not. I don't.
16.
Absolutely. 16. It is an Empyrean gem of Disguise Self, usable once per day. Resets at dawn.
Nice.
And the cloak, as you take some time and kind of sit with it, you realize it is a cloak of protection, requires attunement, will give you AC +1. And because I don't think this has actually come out in any of our games yet, to attune to an item, you basically have to sit with it for an hour, and then you're attuned to it. When an item requires attunement, you can only be attuned to 3 items at a time. So, if you get other magical items that require you to be attuned to them, then you can only get 2 others, but it's a nice one.
Alrighty. Sweet deal.
And the 2 short swords are mechanically considered +1.
Aha. That's good.
Am I hitting plus and not getting plus? Okay.
Sounds like something either Torin or Oriko could use.
2 short swords. Okay, so I'm typing this down in the loot list. I've got healing potion ingredients, poison sets, Empyrean Gem of Disguise Self, +1 AC cloak, 2 short swords. And what was the amount? The gold
200.
amount of the
200.
Okay. Was there anything else? Well, it was like the ingredients. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was just ingredients and alchemy.
I think she had some on her. is
Oh,
what she
you
was
mean
saying.
you're gonna
Oh,
take
okay.
one that you have? Okay, my bad, my bad.
Two D4 plus 2.
2. Excuse me.
I should have recorded tonight.
Oh.
That was a hell of a scene.
Indeed.
Okay. Can I actually have the cloak since I can't wear armor? And I'm squishy. Okay. What's it called? Just a cloak of...
Cloak of protection.
You get nothing.
Good day, sir.
Wow! You can have whatever you want. You can have whatever you want.
Okay, so we don't find any paperwork on, like, that incriminates Dalinar in any way?
Dalinar is a careful man.
Yeah, I figured. Son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to
Get
storm his
Mangala out
lab.
of here, motherfucker.
Maybe not storm his lab. Head back into the lab,
Mm-hmm.
sort of nonchalantly. And
I have some
apprehend
rope we
him.
can tie him up. I don't have any manacles or anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
Put
no
them on the
manacles
loot
here.
list.
And as I didn't really prepare another map, we can just, if you move in here, we'll count this as the lab.
Bow.
Uh-oh, where's Torn? Oh, there he is.
He is at the desk. He's got his feet up on it,
Yeah.
feeling like a bouse.
So, no, please.
Go see Daddy.
Shael and I will do the scouring of notes. You and Torin keep the doctor apprehended. Preferably unconscious. We don't need him doing anything uncouth or...
Are you saying this right out loud in front of him?
Are we in front of him? But are we in front of him?
Well, I mean,
But
you
we all
guys said
just
that you were
walked
going
into the
down
lab.
there. Yeah,
Oh.
you guys are just like, because if
Oh,
you're like,
okay.
hey,
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
good,
no.
he's like, what the
No,
fuck did
I
you
was not
just say?
gonna. No, I'm not gonna say that right in front of him. No. I wanted to have this conversation like prior to entering the lab.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys walk back into the lab, and all of the glass containers, you can see that he's kind of
What's the fuck?
he's like adding a few other chemicals and like looking through some beakers and like watching the reactions and kind of sorting them in these little wooden containers and taking another one and dumping it into the small container, releases this valve, and goes in and the color starts changing in the liquid where one of the hypogeans is, and you can see it thrashes around momentarily and then settles down. And he's staring at it, and he's got like a sort of like pseudo clipboard, a little less fancy. It's just kind of like a little piece of metal holding some parchment in place, and he's scrawling some notes as you all approach.
Ah, good doctor.
I
I've
take
cleared...
it your conversation with your father went well?
Yes, we've cleared the air and things are settled as they need to be.
Mm. Well then, my experiments are nearly finished for the day. What brings you all back here?
You had mentioned something new, something about that heart? Is there... Maybe you can show me some notes about it and go over it with me. I've found myself a bit more curious.
He smiles proudly. Ah, a man who recognizes the talents and intellect of those around him.
Of course. And
Very good.
I'll start walking towards him with the group and getting as close as possible, just at a casual pace. So, what can you show me on paper first? I'd like to see what's in your theorems before I see anything practical.
He guides you back to the desk, and he shows you just a variety of hastily scrawled notes. The eldritch ember root, when pumped into and combined with other liquids, it can create an effect that physiologically changes the organs. But the very curious thing about it is that the organ can continue to function outside of the body of the main host for a limited time.
Fascinating. And I'll kind of walk over and stand like right, not like right next to him, but like over his shoulder a little bit as someone who's like trying to look down and at whatever it is he's got on the paper or a clipboard there.
And he's showing you what looks like a mess, like a tangle of words, numbers, and everything just kind of jotted all over these bits of paper. And right here, this is when I realized that a sewer herb, when combined with some of the acids, you can pump it into the veins, and it gives them increased aggression.
Interesting. But right here on your notes, and he kind of reaches over with a hand and like pulls his attention down to the piece of paper as he behind his back he waves to the group to come in on the doctor as he's got him as distracted as possible.
Roll to attack.
Would that be an unarmed strike or?
Correct.
Just roll and say non-lethal.
Yep.
Just a normal attack roll.
So would that
So
be
it
like
does-
the handle of the hand axe? Like...
Fuck. Oh,
Non-lethal.
lethal, you cut his head off.
Fuck! No!
So wait, what are you trying? Are you trying to punch him, or are you trying to hit him with like the handle of the hand axe? Okay, so that would be, yeah, that would be. What would that be? 1d20 plus what?
Strength.
Plus strength. Okay.
And you only do 1 damage plus your strength mod.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No problem.
Don't listen to Schmidt. He already killed somebody trying to do that shit.
I mean, actually, I was totally going to abide. Like, if you just wanted to hit him with the back of it, that's fine. Don't bother me. Strength modifier.
The number in the big box.
Nothing yet.
You could just hit the word strength on your.
Yeah.
There
Okay,
you
yeah,
go.
so your strength mod is 3, so you just like whop up and catch him in the back of his stupid gourd for 4 damage, and he's like, that is the interesting things that I found out. Is that when you combine both the blood of Hypogean and he catch him right in the back. Like at that little spot where like the skull connects right to the neck, and just right with the knuckle, and his eyes roll back, his spectacles fall, shatter on the ground.
Nick, you had me worried. She did the attack roll and the guy just kept talking. I was like, what is he, immune to like bludgeoning damage? He just like takes it to the back of the head and keeps talking. I was like, what the fuck?
Just wanted to give you a little
Oh my
comedic timing, that's all.
God, jeez. Okay. Alright, tie him up. Let's get him out of here before he wakes up. Shael, help me look through the notes. Grab anything that seems important.
Sure. She's gonna grab the hempen rope out of her pack and toss it to Torin. I trust your not tying abilities, friend.
Oh, great.
Before you know it, like
Dragonborn wear shoes?
they do not. Moments later, you've got Dr. Welks just like tied up like a shibari.
Oh no.
How did you know that this is my exact fetish?
Oh, how nice. A pleasant
Oh.
surprise.
Oh, a little tighter. Oh, yes, hurt me just a little, but make me still feel safe.
Yes. Hurt me, Daddy. I need an adult.
No, he ate it all.
Rage crab.
Rage. Whoops. Where is my...
So you are easily able to tie up and just bind his unconscious form. And as far as Costin and Shael, could you guys please roll a group investigation check? Because with the hastily scrawled and rather unkempt nature of his notes, 22?
22,
okay.
Yeah.
Can I focus less on collecting notes, but can I focus on like the big cylinders to see if there's a way to like humanely kill these things without setting them loose? Like, is there a life support that I can cut off?
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation on that.
14. Did I get any extra stuff that I didn't note down?
Is that your final answer?
You have inspiration.
I used it.
Didn't you have more than one?
I probably have my own that I've earned.
No,
Yeah, I'll just use one that I already have.
Okay, roll it again.
Be better. Come on, dude. Oh, no, that was worse. So, yeah. 14.
There are various nozzles and stoppers on there. You're not entirely certain what does what, but you figure you could just try pressing some stuff and see what happens.
I don't want to let it out. I'm less than half health.
So what are you guys going to do?
Independence Day, like.
When I'm done searching through notes, can I assist with the tanks? Do I need to make a separate roll for that?
We're going to make this a group investigation check. Can I just have everybody roll one?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. Be good. Be good. Oh, that's so good. 26. Nat 20 plus 6.
Fuck yeah, dog.
Orin. You're looking through all of these, and your mind is distracted. Racing and spiraling in those moments as you look around at all these countless tanks and thinking to yourself, you don't know what button to hit. But if something goes wrong, what if you press a button that releases them? And your thoughts drift back to those moments when everything went dark. Those moments where you fell trying to protect your comrades. Those times that you nearly met your end in those failures. And it's enough that instead of really looking and being present in those moments, that you almost just sort of freeze up. Fortunately, Costin in particular and Oriko are able to locate, there's some different switches, and one of them you can see there's these vents, not vents, but like these pipes that go back. And there's this central panel with a bunch of different buttons and some shining Empyrean gems. That you discern that if you remove them, will remove the power from these stations.
Perfect. Let's do it.
All right, roll a dexterity save for me.
Nice.
So you reach in, and there's these currents of electricity that arc outwards, but you pull it out quickly enough that the electricity surges outwards towards your hands, but you like sort of dive back a little bit, and then like it kind of goes and it surges, and the lights flash, and the tanks begin to light up, and the Hypogeans begin to kind of move, bubbles shooting up in the water. But then the lights dim until the chamber is completely dark.
All of them are dark?
The entire chamber is now pitch black.
Shit.
You can see very, very faint glow slowly fading from each of the tubes as the bubbles in the water and the shadowy figures within. The bubbles slow and stop as the figures begin to just kind of like float upward.
I'm gonna immediately light a torch, so we have a little bit of dim light in the room, so we're not blind.
Through
Well, we had no idea that the gems powered the room as well.
It got the job done.
Did I find anything before tampering with the tanks on my first roll?
you were able to locate a few notes detailing deliveries of Eldritch Ember Root, and in particular, those were through the contact of Gironde.
Mm-hmm.
Ezra also comes up again in one of the notes, but aside from that, it's mostly details about combinations of alchemic reagents, acids versus bases, what's eliciting some kind of reaction from the experiments, and kind of the progress in the nature of how it was kind of continuing.
Okay, so I want to take those notes, roll them up separately, and put them in a pouch independently, and then I just want to grab like armfuls of like his scribble notes, like as much as I can gather up, and shove in my pack.
Yeah, Shael's gonna help.
And because those, I mean, there may be context in there that go along with some of the other notes that might be important that I can't discern right away. So the ones I know that are important, I'm keeping separate, and then I again just want to gather up as much as I can, shove it in my pack real quick. I don't care if like they bend or whatever, because we can just fold them out when we get back. So just
Excellent.
a ton of it, shove it all in my pack, and then we'll quickly get out of there.
All right.
Costin, on second thought, maybe we shouldn't destroy this place. Maybe we should send the scouts down here to investigate more.
If that's going to be the case, at least 2 of us should stay behind. If not 3 of us. Not in this room, of course, but out front in the main foyer near the entrance.
Or even up top by the statue. I think it was the only way in.
I believe so.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Secret passages.
Cursory glance through the very dimly lit room from the torchlight of Costin's open flame doesn't reveal any other entrances or exits.
Can we just, as we're making our way out and taking the shitty doctor with us, can I just do like a, would my passive perception of 16 be able to clock any other entrances to like the underground area and in general?
Yeah, that would be enough. Especially when you get up to the next floor too. Those are on a different grid of Empyrean magic, and so there is kind of that dim light in the upper floors once you get out of the very lower basement.
And did I notice any other entries? It's just the way that we
Nothing stands
came
out
in.
now.
Okay. Yeah, I would feel more comfortable waiting up by the entrance rather than down here.
Agreed.
So
Alright.
who's gonna take the doctor to the captain?
Wait, is that canon? Oh fuck.
Oh god, she Shibari tied him.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay,
I just
Oriko
learned
keeps it
something
spicy.
about
Okay.
Oriko's personal life.
Jael, I think you should accompany Oriko. I don't want any of us traveling alone, regardless the time of day. Take the most direct route to Captain Levi, give him the information, and meet us back here. Torn and I will stay behind. Keep an eye on the entrance.
Agreed.
Fantastic. So just to confirm, a couple of you are going to go all the way across town with Dr. Welk's Shibari tied up? Is that correct? Fantastic. All right. That's great. Let's go ahead and do this.
I don't like your tone of voice.
Don't worry about it. I think this is going to be really fun.
Can I?
Yeah, I don't have enough alcohol for whatever it
I'm
is in
gonna,
your blood.
since I got a new cloak, I'm gonna take off my old cloak and throw it over the doctor as she's carrying him to kind of hide. So it's just like a nondescript package.
Nice, nice.
Title of Schmidt's sex tape.
Yes. Wait, how did you know? That was a new one.
It's actually one where he's a delivery man for the post office,
Oh god.
based on real events.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good.
So you get a chance to kind of cover him up as he's Shibari tied. Have you guys gagged him in any way?
No, but
Is
that's
he out? I
probably
thought he was
the-
knocked out.
Yeah, but he could wake up at any time. He needs to be gagged.
Does Oriko happen to have a gag on her?
You could use anything as a
She
gag.
just took off her sock and
I'll
shoved
just
it
be
in
like, Piece of
I mean, now that I know that you know like Shibari tying, I'm just trying to figure out everything else that Oriko's like
Torin,
down with.
give us your jock strap. No.
He won't be talking anytime soon.
He won't be talking again.
Oh man.
All right. So then, as Torin and Costin stand guard just outside of the lab entrance in the gardens in the upper ward, let's go ahead and resolve exactly what's going to happen with the others. So I then pose a question to Oriko and Shael. You guys are currently up in the gardens here in the upper ward. You guys need to get all the way down to like...
Wait, I'm zoomed in too far. Where do we go? Blah, blah, blah?
You guys got to get here. You guys are up
Where?
here.
That's not too far.
That's all the way across town. If you're going to walk it, it's going to take several hours.
Is there, so I know there's trolleys. Is there like private, we just found a ton of money. Is there private carriages or something that we could take? Like a cab?
Cuckoo to flight.
So as a matter of fact, there is a private... Sorry, one second. I'm like noting this down. There is a private service in which there's several that you actually can get private Kuka-Kuta drawn carriages through the town. And as you flag one down, it's not like a particularly fancy carriage, but it's not run down by any means. Well maintained, and there's a very kindly older gentleman who pulls the reins a bit and parks the Kuka-Kuta there, and he glances over
this yellow carriage. No.
and painted on the side of it in some fairly nice handwriting is Kuka Carl's. And this kindly old man
Plaza cab.
looks I'll get ready for it, Katie. So he looks down at you. He's a very nice kind of older human gentleman with a mustache and a little unkempt hair, more gray than black at this point, but he leans forward, a rather tall and lanky fellow.
Fucking Joe.
Hello there.
It's fucking Joe.
Looks like the two of you were trying to get a ride in a carriage. I saw you waving me down right there. So, can I offer you a ride then?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, landlord. Let's go.
And this is where I really wish that I had my fucking player's handbook, but Travis took it.
Ah!
What?
So let me look up what the approximate cost would
How
be
dare
for
you,
that.
Travis?
It's your world. Make it up.
Yeah, I'm about to.
500.
No.
Anything you imagine. No.
So, you got 5 silver for the trolley, and that's considered a pretty good deal. This is going to be 1 gold just because it's a private carriage that offers that luxury. And as you go inside, there's actually, like, some complimentary, like, chilled juices. And,
The lift.
and there's also, like, the seats in there have, like, some hot water to kind of, like, they're, like, really relaxing. He says, oh, well, I've got this nice hot water heater in there, and it just works great. I did it! I broke my wife!
Good job, dude. Congratulations. Strangled on stream. Whoa.
Now you guys just learned something of our personal life.
Damn.
JK, JK.
Damn.
It's about hurting them just a little, but making them still feel safe.
Right.
But,
Nutmeg.
So you go along, and it's a fairly pleasant ride through the city of Darugo's Reach. At this point, I believe you guys had departed. It was around midday by the time that you had exited the Avatar's chambers earlier. So at this point, you're getting to early afternoon, as you can kind of hear the clack rather of the kukakudas, you know, of their kind of claws on the cobblestone, making their way through town. The continued turning of the wheel, but all in all, it takes the better part of an hour to get across town. Maybe about an hour and a half, give or take. And ere long, you arrive at the barracks. And he goes and he kind of pulls up. He's like, well, we've arrived at the barracks for you. Are you going to be needing a ride back? I could rest my Kukakuda Julie here if need be.
Telling them. No.
No, don't do that. They'll raise our rents. Don't do that. It's just a joke, Kathleen. You're making it not jokey.
Just
Don't
kidding.
do that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Actually, I imagine maybe wait just in case, and then we'll let you know. Is that possible? Is that
So-
too much to ask?
Well, very good then. Well, excellent. And yeah, I'll go ahead and wait here, and that's great. So everything's great then, and yeah, I'll just wait here, and maybe I'll read some of this book here. It's a very riveting tale called Nick Quest. Very fun little game. Rather like that Katie character. She uses magic and knives. It's a very great adventure. Well, I'll get reading then, and you guys go inside and take care of that business then. Oh yes, great story. And you two head in, but as you get just a small distance, you feel within that cloak this kind of rustling. What? That's on my head. Which you recognize as you've heard people gag before, as he's complaining about the pain in his head. He begins rustling around, trying to wriggle his way out very violently.
What can I do?
Eat. You see a small pool of blood underneath the cloak.
Like, clean the area under the cloak with prestidigitation.
That's how you clean up a murder. Got it.
That's why it's
Okay.
the best cantrip.
That's right.
You can clean the scene. No.
All right then.
All right.
And so as you draw closer, a couple of the scouts are standing up there. Weapons at the ready, but they kind of lower them at first, seeing Oriko, but then they kind of stop and stand in front of you for a moment. What's with that package right there? Roll deception.
It's very nondescript.
Yeah. This like
Very.
human-shaped package that's wrapped up in a cloak.
Yeah.
This is not the package you were looking for. Oh shit.
Do you have inspiration?
No, wait, can I
You
help?
have
Can
like
I,
10 of them.
can I see if I can just help? Can I? Yeah, let me. I'm sorry, do you outrank Miss Oriko here? Are you in a position to be asking questions?
One of them begins to back down for a moment. Well, I don't exactly, and the other one kind
Were
of says,
you at the Sunless Siege?
we have a job. The other one kind of stepping past him, kind of places a hand on his shoulder for a moment.
Shael's just being a Karen.
Now listen, young lady. We have a job here. We inspect packages that come in. We inspect things that come out. It's that simple. So, show us what you have.
I'm 132 years old.
He brushes some
calling
hair
me
past,
young
revealing
lady.
his elven features. 210, but who's counting? What's the meaning of this?
It's a prisoner.
On then. Don't draw too much attention. The other one's like, are you really sure it's... Don't worry. Oh, okay.
Too
And
much
they
attention.
rather apprehensively let you by. The courtyard at this point is very full of soldiers kind of training and going through drills, and you're beginning to catch more than one sidelong gaze as you're walking through again with a very body-shaped package wrapped in a
By
fucking
now,
cloak
we could
like one
probably
does.
unpackage him and just like perp walk him through, right? Like,
Sure.
she's a
Is-
scout. Like, we don't have to. She's doing her job.
Is that what you'd like to do?
Yeah.
All right. So I have one question. He is unconscious again. How are you going to make? Are
Why
you
was
going to
he
weaken the
wiggling if he's
He was
unconscious?
wiggling until she dropped him a couple times, and now he's unconscious again.
I'm confused.
So are you gonna like
That
weekend at
earlier.
Bernie's this bitch?
No, you didn't tell us he was unconscious again. But we'll
Well,
take the cloak off, and then we can just be like, it's a prisoner, mind your business, as we make our way through.
Okay. You catch more than a couple of looks, and as you pass by, they like see the tying, and they're like,
I see.
one of them's like,
Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry.
Oops.
Alright, I'm gonna switch back to the regular Divine Beast playlist now.
all right. Oh no, please. Yeah. You swear a couple times, you just hear, "Mommy, sorry. Mommy, sorry." What does Shael say?
Imnik could explain it to you, probably.
The camera cuts over. Okay, and welcome to Imnik's class about jokes.
Imnik is like the sex ed teacher.
And he's like his like, blackboard behind him. So the mommy jokes are referring to like a big sort of domineering woman. Because like some people are kind of into being bossed around like that. And then like camera pans back over to you guys.
Fair enough.
But as you make your way into the barracks themselves, that large stone building at the far end of the courtyard, you weave your way through numerous halls until you find the open area where you've come to expect Captain Lee to be. And going out there, you see that he's out going through a few, like running some of the soldiers through some drills, and he's conversing with the four that you saw with him before, and he sees you out of the corner of his eye, says a couple things to one of them, and the one that you recognize, the one that like got his ass kicked really hard by Torin, like he goes and like kind of harumphs and like brings the others away, but Captain Lee approaches the three of you and looks around at the both of you. And, who's this one? My chamber's other side. Come on. And as you walk across and you enter the chambers of Captain Lee, let's go ahead and take our break real quick.
Beautimus.
I'm going to go ahead and kick Hydra up if you want to pause it real quick before we play our theme. I'm going to mute myself and let's take a few minutes.
All right.
Okay, we'll be back in just a couple more minutes here. Thank you everybody for coming and hanging out tonight. I hope that you're all having a good time getting to watch a little D&D and hanging out with us. I appreciate everybody who is here. So, to answer that question in chat, actually, the art featured, some of it is from the Holy Bro. I know that the one for Costin, I don't remember, but they're somebody that I found on ArtStation. Some of the art, I simply had to find the people and get their permission to use and credit it. But all art, official and fan art, is featured here on the slideshow. A lot of this is by our very own Kim.
One was by me.
One was by Katie Lady, that is correct. That one is the Holy Bro. And by the way, I would like to take a moment while we are having some downtime in the session to once again wish our very own Kim D-Dead here in chat, who's playing Oriko, a happy birthday. That one is by Katie Lady. That's Oriko by our very own Kim. Horn, again by Kim. We have a very preferred artist who also did my logo. Now this is a very special piece of art. That is by PK, Kim and Joe's daughter. I forgot who did that, Katie. I'm sorry.
Oh, Kieri is the artist's name. I don't remember their Instagram, but I can find it. And it's in the credits at the end anyway.
Yeah. Someday I will get this to work. Someday I'll get this to work while also showing, like, the people's information. Today is not that day. Dude, we would welcome all fan art because we take fan art for both this game as well as Thicker Than Wine. Honestly, ideally, I would prefer for these to be entirely fan art if we can swing it. I'm just using Costin doesn't have any art yet? I thought that I'd thrown it in there. I'll do that by the next stream.
Well, he has his official art in there, the art that you've been using, but he doesn't have any fan art, is what I think he's saying.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're working like 7 days a week, so. I was gonna say, okay, do you at least get tomorrow off? Awesome. And as a reminder, as we are halfway through this, if people in the chat do end up wanting to hang out after, most of the time, at the very least, I hang out after a session. A lot of the time, it's holy shit, Katie Lady. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that very, very much. But hey there, Travelov. Yeah, it's been a great time. Thanks for showing up, bud. I'm kidding. You're good. You're good. You let us know that you can play.
Thanks for stealing his player's handbook.
It's at the academy. I just have to go and pick it up. Holy shit. Dude, thank you very much for the 1100 bits, and thank you, Katie, for the 1,000. I appreciate you both very, very much. Yeah, we're gonna get started in we'll get started in just a second. I'll give Schmidt some time to get back. And oh well, Potato, thank you very, very much for the 200 bits. But oh my gosh, you guys, thank you so much for the hype train. This is insane. Jesus criminy! Wow, Katie or Kim, why are you getting me presents? This is your birthday. What are you doing? This is your birthday. What are you doing? Let's hang. Well, I will